Diana and David Murphy are a young married couple, deeply in love with each other. They met in high school. David was a senior, and Diana was the new girl. Every Wednesday after class, he gave Diana and her friend a ride home. She watched him in the rearview mirror and fell in love with his eyes. When Diana turned 19, David proposed. Their parents disapproved, believing they were too young and barely knew each other. But David believed that a life without risk was no life at all, so the couple eloped. He graduated from college and found a job at a small architectural firm. Diana supported him by working as a real estate agent. David devoted all his spare time to his own design, hoping to build his dream home one day. They were very different. David had a habit of leaving his things everywhere, which drove Diana crazy. Sometimes their arguments became so heated that objects went flying, but they always made up passionately afterward. Their relationship seemed idyllic. Since the couple did not have much money, they entertained themselves by driving around and admiring the architecture. David found it exhilarating, and he taught Diana to see familiar things in a new way. The woman found a beachfront lot in Santa Monica, the perfect place for David's house. To buy the land and begin construction, the couple took out a substantial loan, but the money still was not enough. They cut back on everything because their future was at stake. David was determined to build a home of his own. Then the recession hit. The real estate market became saturated, and Diana failed to sell a single property for 6 months. Construction came to a halt, people were losing their jobs everywhere, and David was one of them. The Murphys fell behind on their payments, and the bank threatened to foreclose on the land unless they paid what they owed immediately. Diana was desperate. They had no money left. David considered waiting tables or driving a cab so they could at least afford the essentials. In truth, he was just as frightened as his wife because they stood to lose everything. Swallowing his pride, David borrowed $5,000 from his father, but they needed about $50,000 to save the property. One night, David has an idea. He wakes Diana and tells her to pack immediately. The couple heads to Las Vegas, hoping to win the money they need at a casino. Billionaire John Gage immediately notices Diana. She is plainly dressed but strikingly beautiful. As the woman secretly stuffs her pockets with chocolates from a bowl, their eyes meet, and they exchange smiles. Diana would love to wear beautiful dresses, but she cannot afford them. John offers to buy her the gown she has been admiring in a shop window. The woman refuses, telling him that the dress is for sale, but she is not. At the casino, John sees Diana embracing David and realizes that she is married. That night, the couple wins $25,040 and treats themselves to a better room. They have never held that much cash before. It is roughly half the amount they need, so they plan to try their luck again the next day. Diana tells David how much she loves him and assures him that the money has nothing to do with it. The next day, however, the couple loses almost all of the previous night's winnings at the roulette table. Their luck does not last long. Even the $5,000 David borrowed from his father is now at risk. The couple flips a coin to decide what to do: walk away now or bet their remaining $4,100. The coin tells them to keep playing. They end up losing the last of their money, and the previous night's euphoria gives way to utter despair. Meanwhile, John Gage keeps losing one high-stakes poker hand after another and clearly has no intention of stopping. A man like him can afford it. Unexpectedly, John asks David if he can borrow his wife for good luck. Since the couple has nothing left to lose, Diana reluctantly agrees. John decides that the woman might be his lucky charm. After learning that Diana prefers craps, he bets $1 million on her roll. The woman's hands tremble with nerves. Even a small fraction of that money would be more than enough for her and David to pay off their debts. To John, however, $1 million is merely a stack of chips he is willing to risk without a second thought. Diana kisses the dice, rolls them, and wins John $1 million. He asks if she wants to let it all ride. The woman says they should stop. Bitter experience has already taught her not to push her luck. David and Diana embrace joyfully. John approaches them and finally introduces himself. The couple is about to leave, but the billionaire insists that they stay and celebrate his win with him. He also offers to pay for a room. Without much hesitation, they accept and check into a luxurious suite courtesy of their generous new acquaintance. Soon John's assistant, Mr. Shackelford, delivers an invitation to a party at 9 that evening. He also brings Diana a gift, the $5,000 dress she had been dreaming about. All evening John cannot take his eyes off Diana as she slow dances with her husband. They are so young and in love. Later, over a game of pool, John asks David where he sees himself in the future. David replies in all seriousness that he wants to become a billionaire. John says he has money, a great deal of money, but not what David has: love. Diana believes that not everything can be bought, least of all people. John smiles and replies that he buys people all the time. The woman remains convinced that true love is not for sale. John proposes putting that belief to the test right now. He will give the couple $1 million in exchange for one night with Diana. David hopes it is a joke, but John is completely serious. The couple tells him to go to hell. The billionaire expected that instinctive response, but he reminds them that the money is real. One night will pass quickly, while $1 million could last a lifetime. John advises them to think carefully about the comfortable future it could buy them. The couple lies awake all night, thinking about the offer. Diana does not want to accept, but she is willing to do it for her husband. David calls his lawyer friend, Jeremy Green, to make sure John Gage is really who he claims to be. Jeremy confirms that Gage is a famous billionaire and notorious womanizer. David explains the situation to Jeremy and asks him to draw up a formal contract so John cannot cheat them. Once all the legal formalities are settled, Diana stays with the billionaire while David and Jeremy go down to the restaurant. The lawyer tries to reassure David, who is consumed by jealousy and guilt. Jeremy reminds him that Diana made the decision herself and that once it is over, the couple will be rich. At some point David changes his mind, leaps from the table, and rushes back, but he is too late. The billionaire's helicopter is already lifting off with Diana aboard. All David can do is call out to his wife in despair and receive no answer. A private helicopter takes Diana to Gage's yacht. She changes clothes and applies lipstick. The woman freezes when she hears a second helicopter approaching. John has arrived. While David is beside himself with helplessness, Diana and John meet on deck. The billionaire says that if Diana were with him, he would never let another man have her for any amount of money, whereas David agreed to the deal himself. Diana insists that her husband is not to blame. Men like John are used to getting whatever they want. She makes it clear how uncomfortable she is with the situation. John then offers to flip a coin. Heads, Diana stays with him. Tails, the yacht turns around. Fate will decide. The coin lands on heads. David is driven mad by jealousy. Diana does not return until dawn, and her husband has been awake all night. The couple embraces in tears. It is all over, or perhaps it is only beginning. Either way, the couple receives the $1 million and leaves Las Vegas. Diana tells herself that everything that happened is behind them, like a dream fading in the morning light. The first thing the Murphys do is try to pay off the debt on their Santa Monica property, only to learn that after 2 months of missed payments, the bank has already foreclosed on the land and sold it. David and Diana missed the notice while they were away. The man is furious. It seems everything they did was for nothing. The couple tries to return to their old life, although they both know their relationship will never be the same. David thought he could forget, but he cannot. They agreed not to discuss what happened, yet the man keeps trying to make Diana talk. When he finds Gage's business card in her purse, he suspects that his wife has seen the billionaire again. Diana insists she has never noticed the card before, and her husband's interrogation infuriates her. Things only get worse with each passing day. David's jealousy leads to more arguments. Hoping to repair the damage and restore trust in their marriage, Diana decides to try to buy back the land. First, she needs to learn the new owner's identity. The information is confidential, but an acquaintance of Diana's who works at the bank agrees to help and looks up the property in the database. The woman is stunned to discover that John Gage bought it. Diana finds John and causes a scene, shouting that he stole their dream. The man tries to explain that he bought the land only because he cannot stop thinking about her. Diana asks him to sell the property back to her and David, but John names his price, $2 million. If she had $2 million, he says, he would ask for $4 million. The woman shouts that she hates him, but John does not believe her. As soon as Diana returns home, David demands to know where she has been. The woman tells him the truth. She saw John, but only because she was trying to buy back their property. David is furious, convinced that his wife was attracted to the billionaire from the start. He wants every detail of what happened on the yacht. In tears, Diana admits that she enjoyed the night, but insists that she agreed to the deal only for her husband's sake. David storms out and slams the door, leaving the woman sobbing alone. Only now does David realize that he made a deal with the devil, and the time has come to pay the price. It is painfully clear that the couple cannot live with what happened. Their marriage is over. Diana plans to file for divorce and leave all the money to David. They once had nothing, yet somehow had everything. The truth is that no amount of wealth can buy happiness. David no longer wants the money either. Diana sinks into depression and tries to return to her job as a real estate agent, where fate brings her face to face with John again. Fate, however, has nothing to do with it. The billionaire tracked her down and pretends that he wants her to find him a house, or a home for both of them, if Diana will give him a chance. John is not used to taking no for an answer and always gets what he wants, whatever the cost. He knows one thing for certain: everything is for sale. Under false pretenses, the man brings Diana to his own luxurious mansion. It has everything except the one thing that matters: life. The woman says they could never work because no future can be built on the way their relationship began. John disagrees. He needs Diana. She simply calls him a collector and walks away. To keep herself occupied, The woman takes a second job teaching a citizenship class for immigrants at an adult education center. John, however, refuses to give up and keeps following her everywhere. He will not stop until she says yes. One day the billionaire opens his heart to Diana. When he was young, he let the girl he loved slip away, and not a day has passed without him thinking of her. John has no intention of making the same mistake again. Eventually Diana gives in and kisses John, sincerely this time. Meanwhile David mourns everything he lost for a pile of green paper. Trying to release his pain, he tears up photographs of his wife. Later, heavily intoxicated, he finds Diana with her new boyfriend and asks whether she still loves him. The woman is caught off guard and does not know how to answer. On John's orders, Mr. Shackelford carries the drunken, unconscious David away. Later, as he tries to recover from the painful breakup, the man takes a job teaching architecture at a college. One day Jeremy visits David to deliver the divorce papers. Diana is leaving her husband all of their shared assets, including the $1 million. She and John attend a charity auction benefiting the zoo. The billionaire bids $50,000 on a hippopotamus Diana likes. Suddenly David appears and raises the bid to $1 million. Everyone bursts into applause. David has no use for the money if the love of his life is not by his side. No amount of wealth can replace the warmth of a soulmate. His mistake was believing that he could forget what happened in Las Vegas. He thought their love was invincible. Now David understands that people in love never forget anything about each other. They may never be able to forget, but they can forgive. He was jealous because he believed John was better than him in every way. David now realizes that is not true. Gage is simply richer. With that, the man signs the divorce papers and lets Diana go. It is the hardest decision of his life. John watches as the woman weeps in the rain. On the way back from the auction, Diana confronts John and demands an honest conversation. The billionaire merely says she is the best he has ever had. The woman asks, "Better than whom?" With a rueful laugh, John claims that Diana has outdone every member of his $1 million club and that he has made the same arrangement with many other women. Before they part, the man gives her his lucky coin. Diana walks away without looking back. Mr. Shackelford asks his boss why he lied. John replies that it had to be done. Diana never looked at him the way she looked at David, and no amount of money could change that. The woman boards a bus and discovers that the coin is heads on both sides. From the very beginning, the outcome of the toss had nothing to do with fate. Diana goes to the pier at Paradise Cove, where David proposed to her 7 years earlier. There, she finds her husband. If that is not fate, what is? The couple reaffirms their love and joins hands, giving their relationship a chance to begin again.